All right. Thanks for joining me on this Thursday afternoon. I'm excited about today's live stream because there are so many great markets lining up. Now we're taking a look at, well, right now we're on the intro screen. And we see I've got a recent follower, Jojo Crypto. Thank you for following. I appreciate that. And I appreciate each of you guys who are tuning in on this, whether you're watching the live stream right now or you're tuning in later to watch the replay. I appreciate having you here. And to start off with, give me a hello in the chat and let me know where you are from in the world. I'm always keen to hear what state you're in the United States, or what province you're in Canada, what country you're in from around the world. I'm always keen to find out where this is reaching. So even if you're watching this afterwards, leave a comment down below the video and let me know where you're from. I read all the comments and I reply to all of them. So sometimes the comments below the video are more important than the content of the video. I learned some great things. Hello from Poland. Hello from Canada, all the way around the world, to the other side of the world, thousands of kilometers away. It's amazing to me, always. So what if there was actually a methodical, proven way to determine exactly when the next cryptocurrency bull market was really starting? And what if this method did not require insider information and did not require you staring at the charts all day, but only takes a few minutes each day to manage? And what if you could attend a training webinar that taught this complete method for identifying the true beginning of a bull trend without getting sucked into another fake out breakout? And what if that training wasn't just an intro sales pitch that requires you to buy something to get the full answer? If that's something interesting to you and you haven't already, head over to intro-to-cryptos.ca and sign up, and I will teach you what I'm doing and some inside details that you can take and make them your own, so that you learn how I'm looking at determining when the next cryptocurrency bull market is actually going to start. Now, just before I get going here, let me bring this up and put it onto the display. That'll be good. I want to bring up this risk disclaimer to start off with, because I am not an official trading advisor. I'm not registered with the Security and Exchange Commission. And when I am giving these talks, I'm going over my own trading journal, and I'm creating a journal for myself so I can go back and look at it and learn from it. But they're not trading recommendations. And many of the coins here that I say are looking like good buy signals, I'm not owning them. I'm not purchasing them. And some of them that are not quite buy signals according to the simple trading plan, I am trading. So you're not really following me by going over this this training here. If you're interested in more about that, then I recommend that you purchase the pre-sale of my book, where you'll get some additional training and some additional inside information. And also, I'd like you to join into our private Discord chat as well, if you haven't already. And now I'm going to put this into the chat link. Hello, Pen Noob or Knob from Chicago, and Ryan, good to have you here. Daffyd, Nicholas, you speak from heaven. Canada is heaven, could be. Greetings from Denmark. Hey, great to see you here, Mr. Udal, Mr. Udal. I love international names and trying to pronounce them. It's always best to pronounce somebody's name correctly. So there's a link to the price prediction spreadsheet that I'm going to be working my way through now on this live call. So presently we're looking at the price of Bitcoin, and we're looking at the candles on the 1 minute bar over on BitMEX. And the lighter area chart underneath is from Bitfinex. And then off to the side here, we can see the most recent significant trades going through on BitMEX, on OKDex, and sometimes you'll see them from Binance going through there as well, sometimes from Bitfinex. But the heaviest trading is on BitMEX for sure. And just a while ago, there was $10 million short trade that went on. And that's what caused this dip to go down here. And after that $10 million short trade, there was a couple of $1 million trades that were put on right after it. That was the biggest one I've seen go through, $10 million in one trade. I don't even know how many Bitcoin that is. Crazy. If we look at, well, that must have been 1,500 Bitcoin or something like that to make a $10 million trade. Crazy. So now on this this live stream, I'm going to go through the spreadsheet here and update to see where all these markets are. As you may know, I started off in early September making price prediction screenshots, and then I've been tracking it day after day after day to see what's actually going on. Now on the 11th and 12th, we know that the cryptos hit some new lows. There was August 13th, September the 12th, and October 11th, we hit some important lows in the cryptos. And all three times we've seen this turn into now what looks like to be a great big bottom formation shaping up across all these cryptos. So on September the 24th, I started marking down which ones were a buy, which ones were an alert, which ones were a fail, and which ones were a near fail, and including which ones were neutral. And I started color coding all of these so that I could determine when the real bull market is actually coming into play. Now, when you go and you get the extra training video on intro-to-cryptos.ca, I go through about 200 charts from the bull market in 2017, from March to July, and from December and January, and from April and May of 2018. And all three studies are really important for determining when a bull market is really starting and when is it a fake out breakout and you should not be holding things very long. And of course, right now, I don't know if it's going to be a big long-term uptrend or if it's going to be a little fake out breakout and that we might have prices going down further. So now I'm going to go through it. I'm going to update all of these. And at the bottom of the chart, I add up how many good ones are there, how many alerts, how many neutral are there. And then I chart this, and we're seeing over time how this is changing. And as the green line goes up, that's better. As the red line goes up, that's not good. And we'll watch to see how this turns out today. So if you've got any questions, add them into the chat. I'm happy to ask or answer them. And good to see you here, Dest, Mr. Investment Vlogs. You've got a bunch of information that you've been sharing in our Discord chat, and I'm very grateful for that. I'm going to set up that bot that you just shared, and I'm just studying it and actually going to make a video on how to use that bot so that when people join our Discord chat, then you can actually use that bot for inside the chat and pull up all sorts of great information about each of the markets. It's a fantastic addition. So let's start off at the beginning of the chart, and we're going to look at Ardor. Now we're looking at the 1 minute bars, and there's not that much trading volume in Ardor, and it's not how I do my trading signals. So this is the first time now since I've been doing this that Ardor is getting this close to being a cold fish. This is actually looking like a top formation now, and it's looking like it may be dropping back. I know that if Bitcoin drops, then all these alts are going to be suffering from it. I think everybody will just do a panic sell. But I don't know. Right now, it is so close to crossing over, it's kind of worrisome. But it's still green, and I'm still going to leave it as a green. But it might be something that if I was trading it, I might bring my stop loss up close on that. So next is basic attention token. And some of these I jump over to Binance, where we've got more trading history. And of course, we know this one turned into a buy signal earlier. It had the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. It broke the downtrend line. The moving averages crossed over, and that's our buy signal. And then it really took off after that. So in the 1 week view, we can see that this is creating either a flag to go way higher or a top formation. And so now that we have this trend line like this, this is a place to be watching for an exit and profit taking. And I'm looking at the 1 hour bars, So I would be really watching for these moving averages to cross over. If it was dipping down below this trend line, it may be coming back quite a bit further, quite a bit relative to what it's done here. And I would be looking at the Fibonacci retracements, grab it from the high to the low, and look for the 50% level as for where this might be coming back down to. That's just a normal movement in the markets. They go up, they come back, they go up further, and they come back. So that's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is to go back to this 12-hour bar view and say that the moving averages are nowhere near crossing over. I'm just going to sit and let this market do its thing now that it's profitable. I'll leave my stop loss where it's reasonable, just above my entries to protect the money that I put in. So now my investment is safe and I can just sit back and let the market do its thing. Not worry about it jumping up and down, which it's going to do in cryptos. It's very volatile. So Mr. Uldal, would you respond to the majority of technical analysis stating that we have not seen true capitulation yet? Capitulation means I give up. I capitulate. I just give up. And that happens when prices drop really hard. And maybe this would have been the capitulation low in this market right here in September the 11th and 12th. So we saw a big one here on August 13th. And then there was another low on October the 12th. And these are the three that I am pointing to in most of the cryptos as being the bottom formation. But if we go back to BitMEX, US dollar, Bitcoin. So this is the price of Bitcoin. Let me turn off that volume thing. It's a little noisy. Zoom it back. This would have been a capitulation low right here where people were just giving up, you know, from the $20,000 or $17,000, $18,000 level, and it came all the way down to the $5,500 level. So if I had bought up here and I'm holding, hoping, okay, never mind, I just give up, I'm getting out, I can't take it anymore. Then it pops up right from there. That could be the big capitulation low for Bitcoin, and now it's just been fluctuating right on those levels. Or it could go down further. And it's not uncommon for a price chart that looks like exactly like this to do something and crack hard off of this, make a different 1, 2, 3 bottom, and then start the trend. So this is a potential, and this is what actually some of the more famous technical analysts are pointing to as a potential, so that Bitcoin could be coming down to these levels. And it's one of the reasons that I'm doing this methodical, crazy, detailed analysis day by day by day, and color coding it and making this chart so that I can actually see that change happening. If it's coming in, we will see it. We'll see all of these things turning to warnings. We'll see them all turning red as fails, and we'll know at that point. So that's what the you may not see a major capitulation volume. Time works as well. Very long-term holders are left to sell down here. Yeah, some of the very long-term holders, if you bought in at $1,000, you bought in at $250, you're still way in the profits. But for the people who have been trading in this short range here, it could be painful. You know, if you just bought in recently and then it's going down like that, that would be demoralizing. That would be expensive. So we'll see how this turns out over time. My bet is that this is the bottom and we're going to be going up from here. That's what I'm betting on. That's what I'm watching for. And I'm betting that and I'm believing that because of what I'm seeing with all of the cryptocurrencies, not so much with what I'm seeing in Bitcoin yet. Where's our chart here? So I'll bring this over so you can see all of the different chart names along the side. From Colombia. Wow, great to have you along, Adriana. I love that name. And great to have you along from Colombia. I don't speak Spanish, but I do speak a little Portuguese. Now, BNT, and then we'll go to Bitcoin Cash, we'll go to BCN, and then we'll get to Bitcoin, and we'll fill that out in the chart here. So if we're picking up more every time I do this live stream. There's more and more people finding out about it, more and more people who are interested in doing this kind of analysis, and I appreciate having you here. I'm honored to have you guys questions, and I learn a lot from what people are asking and some of the things that people share here in the comments below the videos. So again, I appreciate having you here. Bitcoin Cash is not giving us a trading signal to work with. Any lower than this, and I would have to say that it's a potential, like it's looking like a near fail. In fact, let's zoom into the 1 month view. It is laying along these lows so close right now and showing some weakness there. I am going to mark it as a near fail. I don't want to be too optimistic and miss it. I want to know that so that I can see it in the chart to see what's going on with that. I missed BNT. Binance, BNT, and I'm going to Binance because it's just got longer term history. So here is our low in the middle of September. We had a low here in August, another low in September. It resisted, so it's got a higher low in October. We've got a few candles to the downside, but it's making a new little baby 1, 2, 3 bottom formation right here. And so I'll leave this one marked as neutral with just white. There's nothing in it, it's just neutral. Now BCN, I'll go back to Poloniex and take a look at BCN. It was just delisted from, well, that's still a fail. It's not making a new bottom formation. If this had ticked up a little bit here, I would have changed my color on this, but it's still a fail. It's trading on Poloniex, but no longer on Bitfinex, and so that's really cut them down. Now we're going back to look at Bitcoin price according to our simple trading plan. So that means I'm going to zoom out to the 3 month view, and I can see that there is a 1, 2, 3, 2, 3 bottom formation. The moving averages have not crossed over. It's not showing a tick up in strength for me to even mark it as an alert, but it's pressing down, and if it starts to fail down to these levels, I'll have to mark it as a near fail, and I don't want that. And right now I'll leave it as neutral. So then we go on to BitShares on Poloniex. BitShares is actually pressing down to be a near fail. This is the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, and it's laying flat against there. If I zoom into the 1 week view, we've had some pretty nasty pressures down here. I don't like it. So it is very close to being a near fail. I'm going to leave it as neutral for today, but if it ticks down here below these levels, then I have to mark it as a near fail, which would bug me. Burst I had marked as a near fail the other day, 2 days ago, the last time we did this. And one of the reasons I didn't do it yesterday is because with this simple trading plan, you don't need to be on the charts all the time. 10 minutes a day is all I could do this all in 10 minutes. I could just quickly go through this entire spreadsheet in 10 minutes, and I would have all the trading signals updated. So now looking at this one, it was a near fail. It's still hovering in the near fail region. It's got to give me a tick up of strength and get off these bottoms here before I can say that it's not a near fail. So there's another one that I'll mark as a near fail. And then Clam has been a fail for quite a long time. It's just laying along nasty lows, and it's still laying down there just like a dead market. Maybe the dead cat will bounce, but it's just laying there. And I've got a conspiracy theory that when Poloniex shuts down the margin trading for their US audience, that I have a conspiracy theory that clams are going to be removed from the margin trading, and there are people who already know that, and they're getting rid of all their positions. Civic Coin on the 3 month view is still a buy. We've got the bottom formation here, and the moving average crossed over, and it's starting to show pressure above this. And I think I go over this every single time, where I bought it as it was coming out of this little bottom formation, but according to the simple trading plan, it didn't mature far enough to actually turn into a buy. It had to go above this support and resistance line right here before it actually turned into a buy. So I probably got into it a little early, and then I'm risking a greater risk of being inside a fake out breakout. And this is one thing that I want to be wary of, is that we saw from April to May that prices bound up a little bit. We had all these big candles to the upside. Everybody was all excited, and then the markets faded right off. And it may be the same thing happening now. Oh, there's $1 million trade right there. $1 million at 6,400. And there's a lot of green right there. So hopefully Bitcoin is smartening up and is going to do something. If I zoom into the one-day view so we can see this Bitcoin price in the background. Come on, Bitcoin. So a 3-month view of Civic Coin is just hang on, do nothing. I've already marked it as a green. I've already bought it, so I'm going to keep it that way. But every time I go over it, I explain that it's probably not a true buy according to the simple trading plan. All right, this one's weakening off. It was a buy here, sort of, and then it turned into a cold fish, and it's failing off, and it's breaking to new lows here. So any bit lower as it's coming down to these levels, I'll have to call it a near fail, almost breaking down to new lows. But right now it's still neutral. Decreed was a buy. And we were watching this one. It was actually it was a buy here as it broke above. And then the moving averages crossed over ever so slightly. And I was saying, you know, that could be a get out signal. But for my own trading, I didn't get out. I stayed in. And I've been enjoying that it did this move. But then it's faded right back from the move that it did. If we go and grab this Fibonacci retracement, let's see how close that is to the 50% level, actually lower. So it came down to the 33% level of that whole pop-up move that it did, and it's pulled back all the way along. Now I'm looking for the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation internally here that would say that prices are actually going to go back up. So as it's breaking above this support and resistance level, if it does, that'll tell me that it's on its way back up on the next wave. That's what I would take that as. So for now, since I bought in earlier and it's way above my entry level, I could put my stop loss above where I purchased in and sit back and let the market do its thing. And I may risk losing some of the profits I have, but I want to stay in there and let those profits do their thing. I expect cryptos are going to be really volatile. They're going to pop up. They're going to swing down, and I don't want to be jumping in and out for my own trading style. Game credits looks nice. We'll definitely get down to game credits. Digibyte, I was surprised that it's taking this long, that it's languishing, and it's come down to almost a near fail. Now if I zoom into the 3-day view and the 1-week view, it's a tiny little 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. It's showing a little bit of strength here, right where the lows were before. So hopefully it holds there. But I have it marked as a near fail, and I got to keep it that way because it's so close to laying on those super lows. Doge, I don't think I marked this one nicely all the way along because there was a clear, get out signal here for sure, and we were talking about that when it happened. But I didn't bring into the possibility of going short. I just left it as neutral because I'm doing trading signals looking for the buy signal. So there is the buy signal here, and then there's the get out signal. But actually, if you were a shrewd trader, we can see this is a 1, 2, 3 top formation right here. And as the prices broke below that, it's in hindsight we could see it would have been a great short position to take at that time. And I got a comment that the lending rates on Doge were crazy. It hit 4.5%, 5% when the prices were coming up here, and they hesitated. There was tons of people taking short positions, and then as the prices topped out and were coming down, the interest rates are way down, less than 1%. People are not jumping on short positions when they should. They're jumping on them when it's going up. And I anticipate that when we have the bull market running on Poloniex, that all of the markets that have margin trading, they are going to see the same thing. As the prices are going up, people will be taking short positions and drive the interest rates up like crazy. And then as it's topping out, the price will make a top formation and the interest rates will drop off. At that time, we want to close all of our positions, close our loans, and sell everything. And I want to implement this on the next market that's doing this. I don't want to just talk about it. I actually want to implement this. So this is a plan that I'm saying out loud for you to remind me on this next call when that's coming up. And so that my subconscious picks that up as well, and I start burning it into my own thinking. Now I'm going to go to EOS, which is the next one in our thing. It's making a nice bottom formation, but there's nothing going on here that we can trade as a long signal. There's no buy here. And I don't see a short trade in that either. So it stays neutral. Ethereum Classic moved itself up from a fail to a neutral. So I'll go back to Poloniex and go to Ethereum. Nope, that's Ethereum. Let's go to Ethereum Classic. So it brought itself up to a neutral after hitting this bottom and showing a bit of strength, but now it's right back to a near fail. It's a near fail, but I kind of like it. We've got these higher lows going on. I kind of like that. And it's giving us a better chart to give us a mature 1, 2, 3 bottom formation out of this. That has taken 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks to develop. Sometimes that's all it takes. And so I'll be watching that one. I'll call it a near fail for now because it's so close to the bottom, but it really could turn around pretty quickly, and I hope it does. So let's mark that as orange color for a near fail. And then Ethereum. I'm actually really liking it. And Mr. Uldal, I like Omasigo here as well. Only 16% from the all-time lows. We'll get to that one for certain in this routine. We'll go over game credits here soon, and we'll go over Omasigo shortly as well. There's a 1.8 million trade to the long side. I'm loving all these longs in Bitcoin. I'm a bull. And if Bitcoin does take off, all the alts are going to blast off. Out of these bottom formations, away they're going to go. And I'm also really bullish on Ethereum because it's down to these old historical lows, and we're done the crazy ICO madness where all of those different projects were getting millions and millions of dollars of Ethereum, and then they were selling their Ethereum to finance their project. So that all those ICOs really pushed Ethereum artificially down, I think. And you can see how much lower it is than Bitcoin. And when I did the show yesterday, I was talking about what's going on Ethfinix. And I did some interesting charting there that was showing many of those cryptos maintained great value against Ethereum, but less value against Bitcoin, which you can see here in the charts. That Ethereum is a different value than Bitcoin. And I think that that's going to have the rubber band effect, and this is going to snap back. And when it snapped back from December to January, it was big. So I bought a little bit of extra Ethereum here today, and Litecoin too, because I think that'll happen in Litecoin as well. But according to the simple trading plan, this is building up. We've got the break of the downtrend line. We've got a potential 1, 2, 3 bottom formation shaping up, but the moving averages haven't crossed over, and the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation hasn't broken out yet. So it's still time to sit back so that we're not jumping in on a fake out breakout, and so that we're not being sucked into buying before the signal is actually given. This remains a neutral chart. Now, one that I'm excited about because I bought some of this is Factum. And it's been on this crazy downtrend the whole year. A little bit of a move here in April and May, but it would have been good to get out of that one right away because that bull market did not manifest. It did the bottom formation, it started, it had all of our trading signals, but then it didn't manifest. And that's what I'm watching for now. Is, are we going to get our trading signals and then the bull trend does not manifest? This one is looking great. It's got, there's our bottom. We've got a descending wedge triangle as well. And then the moving averages are getting closer together. I expect that this will give us a buy signal above this area where we can call this the 1, 2, 3 bottom in this range. And we could also, if you're more patient, you could call this one the 1, 2, 3 bottom and the larger from the August 13th low up, and then call this the number 3. So any of these ranges will be good for purchasing. And if we look at the long-term view of this, it is way back down to old historical levels from the beginning of 2016. And it's done some insane moves. So it's one that I'm very excited about. And it's also one that has the margin traded market on Poloniex. And then when this starts to bull run, the interest rates on this are going to go through the roof as people are taking short positions and basically gambling. Now, Pen Noob asked for ADX, and World Sports Games points out that the CMA futures contract will expire on the 26th at 4 p.m. That's tomorrow at 4 p.m. And while I would read that and nod my head in agreement, I really don't know what that means for price pressure on Bitcoin. I don't know why the futures trading contract expiring would move the price, because people have to close their positions, and I don't know what that'll do, why that's a factor. But I do believe that the Security and Exchange Commission's announcements about exchange-traded funds coming up is going to have an enormous effect on the markets. Okay, I'll jump over to ADX right now. I did some additional studies on Binance this morning because I was looking at the biggest movers overnight, and there were some really good looking markets like this ADX. This one I haven't marked up before. Oh, look at that massive candle there. This is the popcorn move that I really want to be prepared for. This is such a great example. Thank you for bringing this up, Mr. Penn. Okay, Mr. Uldal says that the futures contract expiry usually means a short time of manipulation with huge volatility. All right, let's have it just blast off and squeeze all the shorts so they have to close their positions. Now, for these alts, if you haven't already, search YouTube for the cryptocurrency popcorn trading strategy. I made a video on it just about a year ago as we were coming into these November lows and late November, beginning of December of last year, just before the big run came up. And there were a bunch of popcorn moves right after I made that video. So what this means and what I'm expecting in this market, it'll be one of them, is that as the bull run starts, the excitement gets going, the fear of missing out jumps in there, and people just buy in. As soon as it starts to candle up like this, everybody's jumping in to buy. They think it's going to go forever. It goes up, and then it comes all the way back down. And so knowing that this will happen in the cryptos, I plan for it. So in a position like this where I'm seeing a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation shape up, and the market is, the moving average is crossing over, so it's giving us the buy signal already. We're seeing these pre-pump candles. It's a little bit of a different, it's almost like a 3, 2, 1 bottom formation, 3, 2, 1, and then up and back a little bit before up. So it's not quite a classic 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, but this still falls into the category. So when these moving averages are crossing over, it's giving us a confirmation of the buy signal. Prices are coming back now to retest these levels. All good. Everything's good here still so far. When I do a purchase in on this, say I buy 100 coins, I would immediately, and I do immediately, I have on all my coins, I take say 60% of my holdings and I layer them out in sell orders already. And I put them out at double the market, at 5 times, at 10 times, and it depends on the technical levels from the past. So I'd probably have a sell in this area too, just below obvious support and resistance levels, just below, all the way up. And then I don't do anything. I just wait for the market to do its blast off. So I'm very happy to have this one. I'm going to put a star on this so that it's a favorite, and I can come back and check this out later after doing this commentary about it, anticipating this kind of move. I can't wait to see how this turns out afterwards. This is some of the most fun part of it. So let's go back to Factum on Poloniex, because I didn't comment on this one. I had it marked as a near fail before. Now I'm going to leave it as neutral because it's given us this tick up off the bottom in the last 2 days. And I'm very happy to see that it's surged up, pulled back, and surged up more over the last 2 days. These last 4 bars of 12-hour time has done this market well, especially coming off these bottoms. Great to see it. So I leave that as neutral. Game credits now. We were talking about, or that was mentioned just a little bit ago. Who talked about that? Adriana. Let's take a look at game credits for Adriana. Oh yeah. So this one has been setting up just as long as everything else, where we had the lows in August, we had the low in September, we had a little bit higher low here in October. So that's a 2.5 months now of this bottom formation setting up. We've got the descending triangle wedge that it's just popping out of. The moving averages are almost crossing over. And this is like flat line compared to where it's been before. You can't even see that descending wedge triangle according to how the prices were in the past. And I remember when it broke out above these levels, I wasn't expecting what it actually did here in 2017. When this really broke out of this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation that we saw here, I wasn't expecting it was going to do something this big. And the study that you can get from intro-to-cryptos.ca talks about this and the chart and how to read it and how to stay in long enough so that you absorb all of these profits and don't jump out too soon and cut yourself short. Great looking chart, still not quite a buy signal, but I'm going to put it as an alert. So it was a near fail before, and now it's transformed itself into an alert. Love it. How about gas? Now here's one that I'm expecting it to do some more popcorn moves. It's just laying flat along here. I'm going to leave it as neutral. If it ticks up a little bit, it's almost going to give us that alert. One of the alternate trading strategies is you see a 1, 2, 3 formation, a 2 comes back to this. It's almost like a swing trader's entry is to buy in. I talk more about swing trading in my book if you purchase that, and we go into that in detail inside our private areas inside the Discord chat too. So what about, yes, I'll definitely do XRP. Terrell, thanks for being here. I appreciate the question. What about backed launch September the 12th? Bull market or not? I don't know what BAKKT is, but I appreciate you bringing it up. I don't even see it in any of the markets listed on Coinigy. I'm grabbing coin market cap and drag that over here. BAKK. Nope, not even listed here. So I couldn't tell you. But I will tell you that I don't believe in doing ICOs. I do believe that ICOs are gambling. If you've got, when there is an ICO, that's all good, rock and roll. I'll wait till it's listed on an exchange, and then I'll wait for the project to be moving along and under development. And as it does, there'll be tired investors who sell their stuff, and the market will come down. It'll make a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. Just as the project is picking up and getting ready to do whatever it's going to do, it'll make this bottom formation because of trader interest and trader confidence in it and investor confidence. They'll be buying it. Other people will sell, other people will buy, and it'll make the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. So whatever ICO there is, I've had, hey, a new subscriber. Thanks, Terrell. I appreciate having you here. Woohoo. And I like having these alerts. Bing, there you are, new subscriber in the tip jar. Woo, high five. So gas basically is neutral, though there is another trading strategy I talk about in my book that might actually pick this up. I can't mark it as anything but neutral in the simple trading plan, though. I like that chart. Search Google on BAKKT. Show result after launch. Investor market will be bullish. Irma, hey, thanks for tuning in. I was chatting with you on our Discord chat the other day, and you're from out in Western Canada where the temperature is nicer than here in Winnipeg. I'm actually considering moving out west. I want to get a view of the mountains instead of a view of the prairies. Lost my thing here. Golem Network Token, GNT. And I can't go and do much research on BAKKT, Mr. World Sports Games. Kelowna, yeah, that's beautiful there. I've been out west a few times and really love it. So what I do here, World Sports Games, is really just technical analysis of the chart. And if they're not on an exchange, it's all good news, but I can't chart it. I can't make a decision on it. I can't put my stop loss on it. So GNT is a favorite of mine for a long time, even though it was going down, down, down. I want to get my computer set up and running so that I can earn this coin from letting it use my computing power. It's made a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. The moving average is crossed over here, and I was trading this earlier, calling this the little 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, and the moving average crossed over. It broke out. That's the trading signal. Even though it has made a bigger one now and an additional surge out, it was a buy signal earlier. And I think I chickened out and I said, you know, it shouldn't be a buy signal. Should I go for the bigger chart formation? And then it recrossed over again. And so that I said, okay, yeah, it is a buy again. You see, I had it as a buy, then I put it as neutral. But for my own trading, I purchased that and I didn't sell it and I didn't wait. I just held on to it. Love to see that. Next coin is Hunter Coin and then KNC, which is the Kyber network. Hunter Coin. This was a fail, and it surprised me that it failed out because it was making this nice looking bottom formation, had these pre-pump candles, and then down it went. So it's still not doing anything worth picking up on. It's got some candles to the downside. It's not making a strong enough bottom formation to pick itself off this fail category. It's still a fail. So there's nothing to do with that one but leave it. And then I want to go over to KNC. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong exchange. That's why. There we go. All right, there's a buy signal. 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. Moving average crossed over. Little candles to the upside. So it was already a buy signal. It remains a buy. Really nice, actually. Really nice. The further you go back, the nicer this chart looks, the nicer that buy signal looks. I can't wait to see how this one turns out over time. So it's been a buy for 4 days, remaining good, and it's a top pick even today. That could be a rebuy and an add-on to that. Then we'll jump over to, go back to Poloniex, go down to library credits, and look at that. It's making a new 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. The moving averages are almost crossing over. So this is actually turning into an alert with this much activity off of this bottom. It's got to break above this support and resistance level here. So when prices do this and it's laying along here, this becomes support, 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 support. As soon as the prices break below that, it's now resistance, 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 resistance. It's got to break above that to make this buy signal clear. And I would actually like it to come back a little bit and mess around and then break above it to mature this bottom formation a little bit better. So I'm going to put it as an alert now. It's been a fail, then to neutral. Now it's into an alert status because it's made its own little new 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. Love it. And Loom, I'm looking at the chart on Binance, but I trade it Yes, I've had library credits for a long time too. Actually, they did a special where they would take your YouTube content and publish it for you on the library credit network, and they paid me 1,000 library credit for the permission to do that. And I thought, wow, great deal. And I'm still sitting on those 1,000 library credit in my library credit wallet. So I'll sit on those till whenever. Loom, 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. This is one that I was calling this as the miniature little 1, 2, 3 bottom, like a double 1, 2, 3, and the moving averages crossed. I took it. I took that as a trading signal. Prices have come up and they've come back a little bit. And even if you were conservative and say, you know what, I'm going to wait for this to really show me that it's broken above that, would have been another option to do the buy signal. Now that it's come 3 times off of this level, remember this was resistance, prices came up, this was resistance, and as soon as they broke through, now it becomes support, 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 and then 3 times off of that is very bullish actually. If it breaks down below that, okay, it's definitely clear that you've got to get out, but I love it, Mr. Udall. Mana BTC. We're coming up to that right away. And I'll be checking that. I actually purchased that. And I think it's a great idea. But anyway, this one's still a buy for Loom. And would Loom turn into an add-on signal? It could. I would wait for it to be breaking above these levels. If it comes up and then comes down a bit and then breaks above these levels, then it's going past these. This was support. It was support. Now as it comes up there, that's resistance. If it makes a sideways channel a bit here and then bursts above that, it may be a place to be considering an add-on to that trade. And I want to be watching for those too, because I want to start off with a small position and then add on when the market's proven me correct. And Adriana will definitely do Stratus too. That's in our list. We go through Lisk, Litecoin, Made, and then we'll get to Mana. Whoops. So Poloniex, Lisk. Lisk is one of my favorites. It's a platform on which you can create apps, and I want to have a piece of all the platforms on which you can create apps. I think you may have heard the saying, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And Bitcoin, of course, fooled me. I didn't think it was going to do what it did. If you had bought $10 worth of Bitcoin back in January of 2011, nobody really knew about it, but it was at 25 cents per coin. You could have bought 40 Bitcoin for $10. And if you had done nothing, you'd be sitting pretty right now. And so I think all of these cryptocurrencies have the potential to do that. And I don't want to be fooled a second time. So I want to have a little bit of all of them, especially these ones that are platforms on which you can build a decentralized app. And Lisk is interesting because of the language that the app coders can use. Now that I'm watching for the chart pattern to tell me when to do something, and this isn't it yet. It still needs some more maturity before I can do anything with this chart pattern. So Lisk remains neutral, but any lower, and I'm going to put it back to be a near fail. Then we go over to Litecoin. And it's been as near to near fail as it can be for quite a while here. And as I zoom in on this, it's actually looking pretty exciting to see it come down to this kind of level and tighten up in this triangle like this. So we've got all these lows and a little bit higher lows, and then the price is really tightening down to consolidate. It's got to make a decision one way or another now. Higher than this is going to be bullish, lower than this is going to be bearish. And if Bitcoin shows some strength and takes off from here, Litecoin is going to launch. And I think it's artificially low compared to Bitcoin, not for the same reasons as Ethereum, but I think that this is going to be one of the coins that's going to do a 10 times move over the next 12 to 18 months. And so I've been accumulating it and just buying a little bit and buying a little bit and buying a little bit. And at the same time, that chart pattern is as near to a near fail as it can be. And because it's pressing so low on that, I'm actually going to mark it as a near fail. I'm going to put it back as a near fail. I don't want to be too optimistic, even though my personal belief is I have to respect the chart and put in what the chart is actually saying, not what my opinion is. Made safe coin. This is one that's, I traded the worst of probably of all the coins because I really like the project so much. I traded against the charts and I kept on my own opinion. And so when this made the top formation here and was clearly pushing and making a top formation and failing, I still didn't sell out. I still held my made safe coin. So this is probably one of the worst markets I've traded, though it was my favorite because I wasn't respecting the charts. So now, as I've been going through this, I've been marking it correctly. As it was a near fail, and as it was a fail, we marked that. It was a fail here for quite a bit. Now it's making its own new 1, 2, 3 bottom formation in the 1 month view. It's a little wee 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. As it did this, I purchased a little bit of it on a different trade, and it's profitable right now. But that's on the 4-hour bars. When I go into the 3 month view, it still needs more time for this bottom formation to mature before we're going to get a buy signal out of it. And so I'll leave it as neutral. Now over to mana, which has been marked as an alert and then neutral and then back to alert status. Yeah, it's still at an alert status. What are we looking at? 12-hour bars. And this is another one. You're right about the popcorn move potential. Look at this massive spikes to the upside. And so you can bet that the mana that I purchased, actually, I had the basic attention token trade that I purchased in, and I layered out my sell orders in advance. I had a sell order at 4,500 and something, and it got hit. So I took profit on that after this move, and I took that profit and I moved it over into mana, and I purchased some mana, and I did the same thing. I've got my mana sell orders already in advance, way up to where it's gone to before. And I'll just sit on it, even though it's just a couple dollars worth of a trade. It doesn't matter. I'm looking at the percentage gain, and so this is a great chart. It was an alert before. I'm going to leave it just as an alert, even though those moving averages crossed to say it's a buy signal. Now I'm a cold fish, get back out, and now it gave us a bigger 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. We could even call these the number 2s. So we have the 1, 2. Down number 2, and now we have a new number 3, and a break above these levels would be official buys when this moving average crosses over again. But I've already purchased, and I'm just waiting on it. I like the idea of Decentraland, where people can create, I guess this is a platform on which you can create apps. Right? You can create real estate inside Decentraland, and that real estate is going to become valuable, especially if you can create something where, like a store inside Decentraland, where people who are interacting inside the environment will pay you tokens to use something that they need for a different part of Decentraland. Then you've got yourself a virtual money-making machine inside the game, inside the land. And so I want to have a piece of this project in its coins, especially out of this chart pattern. Your signal Telegram channel? I don't give out signals, actually. So what I'm doing here isn't a trading signal. I'm not giving out alerts to tell you what to buy and when to buy it and stuff like that. I'm going over these charts and I'm sharing my trading methodology, and then you can do this. Once you get familiar with this pattern, you don't have to watch this day after day. But you could just click onto the spreadsheet, click on that link, and you'll be able to see what I've got marked as green, what I've got marked as alerts, and then you can look at the chart yourself and decide. But I am going to create a Telegram group, and I'm going to connect that up to our Discord channel as well, so that whichever platform you're familiar with and you like the best, you can be chatting there, and we can chat back and forth from everything. $1.7 million trade just went through there. You can create your own casino in Decentraland. Yes, that would be profitable. There's going to be a fire truck going by here right now. I'm on fire truck road. It's quite annoying, actually. Nav coin. Let's go on to the next one. Inside Poloniex. Down, down, down to Nav coin. There's another fire truck going by. It must be a bigger fire. So Nav coin. Let me mute this. There we go. So it's annoying to me, but it doesn't have to be annoying to you as well. Navcoin was a buy. We got that, nailed that signal, and then we were watching it and it added on. It gave an add-on signal here, an internal 1, 2, 3 bottom. So the prices scoop up, they come back, they make a new internal 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, and I look at it in a shorter time frame. So we're looking at the 4-hour bars, and here's the buy signal on the add-on in this area, and as it's coming up here. And then another one as it's breaking above these. So you can take your pick based on your strategy. What kind of formation do you feel is one that's worthy enough of adding on to it? But I want to study this philosophy of starting off with a small position and then adding on to the position, because I'm assuming that this is going to be a longer term trend. I could be wrong. And if I had done this in April and May of 2018, I would have lost money for sure. Because it didn't go up as an uptrend. It was a little fake out breakout, and then the downtrend continued. And so if you add on at the wrong time, you can take a profitable trade and turn it into a loser really quickly. This is important to pay attention to, and that's why I'm doing these studies. More trucks. Must be something important, bad going on. And it sounds like something close. They just stopped and turned off their sirens. So this one I'm going to leave as that add-on signal, and we'll monitor that one over time. This is really interesting, and we'll see how that goes. I don't have any numbers to it, right? I didn't buy and then buy in again, so I don't have the numbers, but we've got the general philosophy that we're studying here to see if this comes back. Then we'll have to treat this add-on signal as its own trade. So as these 4-hour bar moving averages cross over again, that would say, okay, I'm a cold fish, I have to get out. So hypothetically, this is the better place to be buying in, because it did show us prices going up. But we were talking 2 days ago about this triangle formation as being an additional buy-in spot. So Mana coin Decentraland is most profitable coin. I already made since the 250 Satoshi. And it's at 1100. Oh, wow. Nice trade, World Sports Games. That is fantastic. I love success stories like this. And over the next couple of months, I'm hoping that you guys are coming back to this chat and you're giving me feedback on all of your success stories. I really want to hear how many percentage gain you're up and how it has been going for you. So Namecoin was is the next one on our list. It was a fail, as it broke down below here, because we have the August 13th low, we have the September the 12th low, and then it went down lower. But as soon as it bottoms out here now, it's creating a new 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, and we watch it anew, and this becomes like a clear slate. We forget that it was failed already, because now it's making a new 1, 2, 3 bottom. And should it be breaking above this, it'll become a new buy signal. So instead of being a fail now that it's set up a little bit of a support down here, it has to become a neutral in the chart. So it's not a near fail, it's back up to neutral status. And so it's regaining its stripes there. NXT has been a near fail for a while, and it came up to a neutral coin, and now it's back to near fail. One more tick down and that turns back into a fail. And that's too bad. It's at 923 Satoshi. Right. I'm going to mark it as a near fail again. And I want to mark it so that I can add these up and get an overall look at the the tone of the whole market, an average. And so OMG, Omase Go, we were talking about that earlier. It's got lower highs along here. It's got lower lows. So we're within a descending trend at the end of the big downtrend. So it's not giving me the turnaround and the excitement that I'm wanting to see here. I was marked it as a near fail, I think, the other day. And while it's pulled up a little bit, it could be now creating its own new little 1, 2, 3 bottom. I'll leave it as neutral. And the moving averages are getting close together. So should it break above these levels, that would be significant. That is pretty good support, support, support. Now it's resistance, resistance. It tried. Now it's resistance and resistance again. If it comes back and then breaks above that, it would be a turnaround enough to be considering it as, in the simple trading plan, I'll leave it as neutral. So it did mature a little bit over the last couple days, even though it's ticked back in the last 12 hours. Let's go on to Omni, which was a fail after it broke down here. That just down, 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 down. Every 12 hours it was a down candle. Now it hit a bottom, and it was actually like 20%, went up 20% and stuff like that over a 24-hour period. So it's now creating its own 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. It still needs time to mature, but at least we have some area where we know the support and resistance are. How is this according to old historical prices? It's the lowest it's been. So we don't even have old historical prices for considering any kind of historical support. It broke those. It's down. And it's still at 68,000 Satoshi. There's a long ways it can go down. If investor confidence is gone in this project, something happened with the developers, or you just don't know what. But the charts are not telling happy stories here. So I'm going to leave this as, I've moved it up to neutral. I'll leave it as neutral, but personally I don't have that much like for that chart at all. This chart I like much better because we are back at historical lows a couple different times. There's some nice historical lows, and now prices have made a large 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. So we could wait for prices to break above these levels. We could consider an entry above these levels and think of this as its own little 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. It was a buy signal. It was a get out signal. And then it consolidated. And so this would become its own, like an internal 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. These are all options in ways to approach this. Whoops. And so in the 12-hour bar, let's go to the 4-hour bars. Here we can see this little internal 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. The 4-hour bar moving average crossed over. And that would have been a buy signal right there if you were considering this as an add-on. And it's quite possible. If you had considered this your 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, prices came back to retest the number 2 point. We've got a double 1. There's our 2 point. It came down and broke above that. And I know the 12-hour bar moving averages crossed over at about that time to give us a buy signal. So in some trading methodologies, you are patient enough, you have a small enough position to let it come back and retest. You just don't react to it. We're at a point where it's the market turnaround. You let it have the room to do that. So those are some of the ways to approach it. But even if you had gotten in and then gotten out here because it said cold fish, and now it's doing this consolidation, it could be a re-entry point if you're confident in this market. And indeed, I did, in one of my trades, I did purchase in on this little bottom formation here. I liked it enough to put a few dollars into it. So what do I say for this in the simple trading plan? We're working on the 12-hour bars, and so I can't give it a turnaround yet. I have to leave it as neutral. And I had it marked as an alert for those very reasons of that add-on signal, but I'll leave it as a neutral. I'll try to be more conservative. That's important for me to pay attention to, that I'm consistent at this. PPC. All right, so this one is turning around and it's giving us the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. It's not giving us a trading signal yet, but it's gaining my confidence back from what it's doing with the chart there. And sure, I'll leave it as neutral. Now, quantum was a buy signal, and we don't have enough chart value here on Poloniex to really look at it. So I'll go to Binance, go down to quantum, and take a look at it. And sure enough, look at that long downtrend, like a perfectly straight downtrend all the way. I love it because it gives us such a clear entry point when the charts do this. Very clear when it's in a wicked channel like this, and then it comes out of that channel. That is great. So there's our 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. The moving average is crossed over. There's our buy signal line right there as it broke support and resistance from the near history. Really great. It came up and it's come back to retest this area. All quite normal. It stays marked as a buy in the chart. Great to see it. Rep. Back to Poloniex. Scroll down here to Rep. This one has been doing some pretty interesting stuff. It failed earlier from our October the 13th low. It failed to new lows, even lower than September the 12th, and then lower again here in October. But it has given a little bit of a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation now. It's actually broken above these levels, and the moving averages are very close to crossing over. So I would still, it could have been a buy signal there. It could be coming up close that it's a nearly a buy signal. And it's great that it's pulled back a little bit from this retest of these candles here. When it breaks above that, that would turn into a buy signal. And so I can't put it as an alert. I'll have to leave it as neutral for today. But I did have it as an alert 2 days ago. That's interesting, and it gives me the opportunity to go back and watch my own video and say, what was I saying? I try to talk this out carefully so that I can indeed go back and learn from myself on these trading journals. Now, Steam dollars, I was pretty disappointed in because it made a nice 1, 2, 3 bottom formation here. Prices broke out above. It was looking great. The moving averages crossed. It was all a good buy signal, and then failed. It turned into a cold fish and came down to a near fail range here, and now it's floating along. And so I won't mark it as a near fail now, and I'm not going to mark it as an alert. It's got to mature again past these levels and have a definitive moving average crossover. But it's always been a market I've had trouble with trading. It never traded it well, so it stays neutral. Coin was an add-on signal. So we had the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation here. We had the breakout, and I must have been looking at this as its own little 1, 2, 3 bottom, because on the 12-hour bar the crossover is here, and then I was looking at this as the consolidation for the add-on signal. So that I definitely considered as its own little 1, 2, 3 bottom formation here. And as prices broke above that and the 4-hour bar moving averages crossover, there's your add-on. And so being an add-on, you got to be really wary now, especially when we have lower highs shaping up here. And we have not quite a trend line yet on that. Not quite a trend line yet. But if I drag it out this way, this is where those trend lines meet. And if it stays in this range and then fails below this trend line, there's your get out, part of the get out warning, that it's just a fake out breakout. It's a little bit of a rally, and if Bitcoin prices drop, then so will this, and we'll have a pretty clear idea of when to be getting out and protecting ourselves. And I really want to be light of foot on this and pay attention to that so that we're cutting losses. But I'll leave it as the add-on signal. and just be wary of where to protect that, because it's even more risky when you've added on to a trade. SNT, go back to Binance. And nothing going on here that I can talk about. It crossed over, it was looking so good, but it didn't break above the bottom formation properly out of the 1, 2, 3. And so it wasn't a buy signal yet. So it's building up, but it's just gone sideways, and it's still marked as neutral. It's been neutral for a long time, just going sideways. Steam coin was a near fail last time I looked at it. So we'll go to Poloniex, scroll down to Steam, and it's still a near fail. This is too much volatility right at the bottom of this. It's got to turn around and give us a few ticks up before I can feel good about this. So I'll leave it as a near fail. That's still a pessimistic looking chart to me. Now storage and STR were buy signals. Let's look at storage. I have Namecoin too for a long time. Yeah, Namecoin. Let's go back and take a quick look at that. Yeah, this is a pain. Down, flatline. It was looking great and then failed down to a new bottom formation. So I've been a bag holder. I must admit that there are times I've told the story of my $500,000 mistake in trading. $500,000. I would have made $500,000 more in 2017 from middle of July 2017. All of the altcoins stopped following along with Bitcoin. They started going down as Bitcoin was going up. And if I would have sold out all of my altcoins and left my money in Bitcoin, I would have made $500,000 more than what I did. Probably even greater profits than that, but I call it my $500,000 mistake. And it was a simple decision that I kept at for a long time. So this is one of the reasons I'm doing this crazy study so detailed, is so that when that comes up again next time, I'm not going to make the same mistake. I'm going to be aware of it. I'm going to repeat this over and over to myself so that I know what I'm doing and what I'm not doing. Anyway, this was a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation and a buy signal. And it's important to say that this was August 13th lows. It came down lower in September, and it had a couple of these capitulation low spikes. And then that turned into a bottom formation, and it went up. So there was the buy signal. And now it's consolidating. It's making this formation. It's a flag. And we don't know if it's a bear flag or a bull flag. But I think it's a bull flag where it's consolidating and it's going to go up from here. Triangles are the hardest to read. If it had done something more clear, let me delete that. If it had done a more clear, classic move like this, this would be a clear bull flag. But the triangles are a little bit harder to judge if it's a bear or bull flag until it breaks the point of this triangle, and that usually gives the answer. So this is another one that I love to journal. I love to talk about it and get that recorded so that 6 months from now I can go back and look at this today, and I would know, of course, by what the prices did afterwards. So storage coin remains a buy and actually is warming up to be an add-on signal with that consolidation formation. Now here's one that's probably, I'm not going to be happy to see the chart. 3-month view. Oh, it's still okay. It was a buy signal here, then a cold fish, and then it turned into another buy signal here, and it's pulled back a bit from that. So it's pretty sketchy. Normally, the 12-hour bar helps to filter out these jump in, jump out, jump in, jump out. If I go to a longer term view, I'm really bullish on this market because of this longer term massive triangle that we are seeing here. And to me, that means something big is going on. And I'm expecting to see a big move to the top side, but it really could be that's what I'm expecting. It could be a big move to the bottom side, but as it's coming up to that triangle, there's a strong resistance and it's coming back to gather strength again. If it breaks above this line, that's going to be great. So in the spreadsheet, though, it remains just marked as a buy signal, and maybe on a break above that triangle, then it'll be an add-on signal and it'll turn deep green. Stratus, Syscoin, and we're hitting into a few now that were alerts last time. Let's go see what's going on with them now. There we go. It was an alert and it turned into a buy. So if you were paying attention to that alert, this would have been a handy one to watch. So there's our support and resistance. There's a couple different ranges where that support and resistance was. Woo! There's our 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. But it's a buy signal, so I'll mark that in the chart as a buy. And Syscoin, what did you do? Looking good. Is it a buy signal? We have the break of the downtrend line. We have the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. I've been resisting putting it as a buy signal all the way along as these candles were coming in here, but it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter. So I'm going to leave it as an alert. It's got to poke above these before it turns into a buy signal. It's looking great though, and it could be a buy depending on your risk tolerance and your trading style. But it's so close. Viacoin. So we have the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. We have the moving average crossover, and it broke above these levels. If just, that's enough to turn it into a buy signal, and it remains a buy signal from where that turned into right there. I'll leave it remaining as a buy signal. VTC, what did you do? Let's see. Oh, I love this $1.3 million buy in Bitcoin. That's good. So this one has the bottom formation. It has the break of the downtrend. It has the moving average crossover. But these candles, they wick back so quickly that I'm not going to mark it as a buy yet, even though we've got the moving average crossover. So it may be that you could put on a small position and be prepared in advance before the next move and get ready for the popcorn move in this market. It's done some enormous moves. And so it just flatlines our triangle and our range here when we zoom back into it. It depends on your trading style. I'm going to leave this marked as an alert so that it's coming up close but not ready yet. Counterparty. Boy, that's still an alert. Still an alert. We've got a couple ranges here where these candles have come up to. It's making a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. The moving averages have now crossed over. So it stays an alert, but not quite a buy, according to the simple trading plan. XEM, one of my long-term favorites as well. Looking good, but not a buy. We've got higher lows. We've got good support resistance level all the way along here. We've got the moving average crossed over. It came back. So it may have been, certainly could have been, this is a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. The moving average is crossed. It broke above there. It's a buy signal. And then it came down. This is a cold fish and says get out. And we could see by looking at when it did a similar, here's our buy signal right in here. And then it turned into a cold fish. It was a good idea to get out and not be hoping and not be wishful. Hope is a beggar, so don't hope. Just get out. Take that little bit of a loss. If you had bought in here, right now you're getting out here. Take that loss. Get out. Don't be a bag holder as maybe the downtrend is going to keep going. So make your initial trades small enough that when you get out of these things, it's not a big loss to you. Don't put on your whole trade and then have to take off that whole trade. Your losses will be bigger. Be more patient. When you see that these markets go a long ways when they do. So we do want to put our foot in the door, and then we want to put our whole leg in after we've proven that we're not going to get our foot squished. So I'll leave this as neutral. XMR. This is another one was it, I don't know, there's another market that did the 1, 2, 3 bottom, did the breakout, came up and it pulled all the way back, and it's retesting the number 2 point. We have the number 1, 2, 3, broke above the number 2, came back and retested it, made a top formation, came back and retested it, and then it made a little internal 1, 2, 3 bottom formation here and showed some strength. So it's a tough one to trade. Might have been inviting to trade off of this formation here as it broke above this, and it's come back to retest these levels. It's all normal and natural good stuff in this kind of time frame, but a difficult one to trade using the simple trading plan, because it came down, it made the bottom formation, it crossed over, it gave the entry signal, then it said get out, I'm not quite ready yet. So according to the simple trading plan, you'd be out of this market and you'd be waiting for this moving average to cross over again on strength. And it's okay, there's lots of time. It's done big moves in the past. The thing is to be risk adverse and protect your money. What's it? Warren Buffett has 2 rules in trading. Rule number 1 is don't lose money. Rule number 2 is don't forget rule number 1. Everything else takes care of itself. If you stop those losses, he who loses best wins in the end. So this one is still a fail, all the way down here. I don't know what went on with this market. I really don't. But the chart said fail. Whoops, that's a real fail. Just the light red. Ripple is an add-on signal. Let's go see what happened there. Yeah, I like it. So there's our buy signal. It's come back and retraced to around the 50% level, maybe a bit lower than that. And then internally, it's created a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. And it might have been an entry, but it's pretty sketchy. I did have it as an add-on signal 2 days ago on this strength right here, and it's pulled back a little bit. And so if you had added on, you could still be holding on to that add-on position and watching it close to see if it's going to break down below these levels. Then, you know, close the add-on part of your position and keep the original position because it's still nice and profitable. So tricky, that one there. But I'll leave it as an add-on signal because it hasn't failed that add-on order yet. Zcash, we're getting down to the last of them here. So, well, that's the 4-hour bar. So here's the 12-hour bar. Now it's shaping up. We've got support and resistance along here. That it's candle wicked up a couple times too. We've got the double bottom. And we've got the moving averages coming up to crossover again. But we have a new downtrend line. These tops make a new downtrend line. So it's got to do a few things before I'm going to buy into this. I'm going to let it mature a little bit more and break out of this larger 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. And when it does, it's really changing direction from going down to, it's got a long ways to go up if it does. But I'm going to be more hesitant on this one and wait yet. So what do I have it marked as? Neutral? Sure, I'll leave it as neutral. And ZRX is one of my favorites from all of these studies so far because we nailed this bottom formation. Let's go back to the 3-month view. We nailed this bottom formation right here. It was so strong, it was so clear, and it fit all of the criteria. So here's the break of the downtrend line, and we had a little 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. Then we had a nested 1, 2, 3 bottom formation that broke out above important resistance levels, support and resistance levels from the past. So it was just a clear buy, and we marked that as a buy. And then the news came out that it was being listed on Coinbase, and prices took off from there. So we had a couple days advantage over everybody else by using this system and monitoring these charts in this specific way, and up it goes. So it could consolidate, it could come back to these levels here quite safely without causing any alarm on this move and consolidate here. Then I would be looking for the add-on signal. If this is newly listed on Coinbase, it's going to have a much larger audience. It's going to have a longer bull trend than just a few days. This is a shift And so I'll be watching this one for the add-on, though it isn't right now. So let's add these up now. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 buys. Okay, that's only one more than last time. Now let's look at how many alerts we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 alerts, one less than 2 days ago. Neutrals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. More. Gone cold. No cold fish. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 near fails, same as last time. And so we must have 4 fails. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. 4 fails. Grab these formulas. Paste them over here. So I counted correctly this time. I have 55 markets. I must have missed something on these last 2 counts. And then I go update this chart. Edit chart, and I need to add in row number AC. So not much change after all that study. We can see that overall we have a little bit more neutral, positive is flat, and the negative ones are flat. So not much change over last time. One thing that I did do this morning is I went over to Binance and I was looking at some of the bigger movers there. Oh my. I lost on altcoin. Ooh, look at these big sells coming in into Bitcoin. I don't like that. So any kind of weakness here on Bitcoin, I don't like. But as I was going through Binance this morning, I was looking at the bigger wins and losers, and there were some markets that I was unfamiliar with. There's ADX, that was looking good. We just talked about that today. There was AGI, which is a clear buy signal. Look at this bowl-shaped formation, 1, 2, 3 bottom, moving average crossover, and away it went. So there was some new buy signals here that I hadn't noticed before. Data, look at this candle, and it's making the bottom formation. So a break above these levels is going to be very nice. And I would be prepared for the popcorn moves in this market big time. EVX I wasn't familiar with, and there it came down just as clean as can be. 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, made a triangle inside that formation and then showed strength out of it. So for me, this is right on the edge of a buy signal. Even though the moving average has crossed over and it's done this candle wick up, it's right on the edge of a buy signal. I would wait for it to really definitively break this support and resistance level. GVT is one that I didn't catch, but look at this, break of the downtrend line, little 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. Whoops. A little one here, and then a bigger nested 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, then a larger nested 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, and up and up and up it went. It may be ready to retrace a little bit, and should it retrace, would be looking for the add-on signal. If it comes down to these levels nicely and then makes an internal 1, 2, 3 bottom formation from there in the future, which wouldn't be unusual, that would be an add-on signal, looking for something that's going on to a much longer term trend. Loved seeing this market. MFT is another one that I was unfamiliar with. Go into the 3-month view and look at that chart. Downtrend, bottom formation, and it's just cracking above it there. So it's just giving us the buy signal. So there was some new buy signals that I found this morning on Binance that I hadn't noticed before. Ncash, very good consolidation triangle here. The moving averages haven't crossed over yet, and it hasn't broken fully above this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, but really looking good. Here's another one that I think somebody brought to my attention in the Discord chat and mentioned this one. So we have it's not as obvious 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, but this consolidation triangle, moving average crossover, it's really lining up that it could be doing something. And at 25, 26 Satoshi, I love it. I like those even better. The whole market is 30% net short on Bitcoin. Surely a squeeze is coming to provide some liquidity. 32,000 shorts versus 21,000 longs. And often the crowd is wrong on those. So when everybody was going long on silver, the prices was going down, down, down. Everybody was taking losses over on one broker. And I did a video that says, go and see what everybody else is doing and do the opposite. So here's another one that's making a 1, 2, 3 bottom, PHX coin. I don't know anything about it, but the moving averages are crossing over. It's breaking out of a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. Even though it doesn't have that much historical trade information here, it is good. I liked it. Storm. There's another one. Look at this. Breaking out. 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. Nice. So the more of these that I see doing this, here's another one. It's not as nice a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, right? It broke the downtrend line, but I would consider this to be the 1, 2, 3, where it's got the 1, came back, and it consolidated inside. You could rough it out this way and call that a buy. You could also step back a little bit and wait till it breaks above these levels, anticipating that it's probably bouncing off these things and will come back down, maybe, and consolidate here and then break above them definitively. And so you'll get a retest of the number 3 point internally before the trend really changes. And there's lots of time for that. It's okay. It's okay to be patient and wait for that. XZS, downtrend line, 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, pre-pump candles going to the upside, all lining up great. There's your support and resistance levels. So a break above that is a buy signal, to start putting on your position and start building it. Because again, with this strategy, we're not trying to put our whole position on at the beginning. We're expecting prices are going to pump, they're going to come back to the 50% level, and then they're going to continue on the trend. And so then you buy a little bit here, you patiently wait, you've got some profits locked in, makes this bottom formation, you can add on to it and move your stop loss up so that you're protecting your funds. So you're respecting what Warren Buffett says for his 2 rules. Rule number 1, don't lose money. Rule number 2, don't forget rule number 1. Now, back to BitMEX, back to Bitcoin. And the longer term potential that it really could do this move down. It really could go the other way. These triangle patterns are the most difficult, because it's a triangle. And the symmetrical triangles are even worse than the descending top triangle. Go to the 1-year view. Let's see how much data we got here. Drag it back, drag it back, drag it back, drag it back. Come on, give it to me. Not enough data. Where are we? 2016. That's not enough data. I'll just go to Bitfinex US dollar. So now I know I can drag this back and drag this back and drag this back. Drag it back, drag it back. Look at how the market was in, that's 2016. Here's how it was in 2015. So we had some capitulation lows here. We had the break of the downtrend line. We had a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation that it just broke above and then failed back. It just broke above it and then failed back into a capitulation low. And then the market started. This was the beginning of the bull market, and I bought 2.5 Bitcoin for money some of the only Bitcoin I've ever purchased at $245, $270 or something like that. It was September the 24th that I bought it. September the 24th. So it was at 230 something Bitcoin. So Bitstamp has even more history than this. And then prices started going. So here we are, the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, right? Here's our number 1, number 2, number 3, and then prices started to go. And we may see this kind of thing going on now, coming up, before prices take off. And then look what they did. Big wave up, they came down, and they gave us the add-on signal. We know now it's an add-on signal, but I want to think about this for all of the alts, that we're going to have a long-term uptrend that's going to go like Bitcoin did from 2015 all the way till the end of 2017. So we had 18 months of a bull market here that started out when these moving averages crossed over out of this bottom formation, and it went up. So it came up, consolidated. There was about the 50% level. Internal 1, 2, 3 bottom formation there. And then it came up. It topped out again, came back down. We could be watching for the internal 1, 2, 3 bottom formation there. But there again, here, look at the type of triangle we have here as prices are pushing on this to go higher. We have an ascending triangle, not a descending triangle that we are experiencing right this moment. Then prices popped from there, pulled back a bit. They absolutely blasted. Then they retraced and they gave us the internal add-on position here. Oh, not quite enough yet. There's our 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. So every time we're doing this, we're going to be sketchy. We're going to be assuming that we're trying for that, but it may not be the right time. So we have to get out if the moving averages cross over. And I'm looking at the 1-day view, so I would be in a closer view if I was actually trading on this formation. So now prices came back. They made another internal bottom formation. It's time to try again. So it may not have worked this time, but then the next time it is time to try again. And it was a difficult one because look at this spike down there. Then prices continued up, and here again we have the ascending triangle as prices are going to break higher. So it's coming up, 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 and pushing, and then blasting off of that. Right now we are not seeing an ascending triangle as we get to the future. So up all the way back, difficult one to trade. All the way up, 1, 2, 3 top formation, lots of volatility, really came back to difficult to trade this now. But then as soon as if you could have caught this, it turned into a marching order, just absolutely marched up to the top. There we are in June of 2017, June and July of 2017. So at this time, all of the alts were going along with. We had the massive run from March until July, and the alts coins were going up and Bitcoin was going up. It was huge profits. Then on this spike down, everything changed for the altcoins. On that specific spike on that day, everything changed. And all of the altcoins started to go down as Bitcoin went up. So as this was going higher, the alts stopped getting investments in them. People were taking their money out of alts and putting it into Bitcoin. And I kept my money into alts, expecting that alts were going to follow along. They were going to do a retracement and then they were going to follow along. So I didn't respect the top formation. I didn't respect the moving averages crossing over, and I kept my money into alts. And this is my $500,000 mistake. Bitcoin kept going, and every time Bitcoin made a top formation, all the alts made a bottom formation. And I thought, here we go, the alts are going to start following. And then Bitcoin would go up and the alts would get squished down more and more and more, all the way until here on December the 14th of 2017. This is when Bitcoin topped, and this is when the altcoins started to pop. They made their lowest low here. They made a low through November, and then this range here, they made new lows. They didn't go down that much compared to how much Bitcoin went up, but they made new lows, made new bottom formations in that time. And then as Bitcoin made its top formation, and if I turn the volume back on here onto this chart, we can see something interesting. as I move it to here, we can see how much volume there was on the trading going up here. Right here, huge volume, and then as it blew off to this top, it was actually less volume. So that divergence in the volume as it's peaking is really key. Prices were going up, but the volume was less. Then it turned around into big selling volume. So now we have our 1, 2, 3 top formation, and prices are coming down. So this is when alts went crazy from the middle of December until the middle of January. So they had like a cork underwater. They popped back up as soon as the pressure was off them and Bitcoin wasn't flying up. Then they all popped up against the price of Bitcoin. And then, as we know, everything went on a downtrend until about March. So as Bitcoin made this little pop up, the alts also did. But then everything crossed over and the downtrend continued for the alts. So as Bitcoin went down, the alts went down. As Bitcoin went up, the alts went down. As Bitcoin went down, the alts went down. And we are where we are now, and we are not seeing an ascending triangle of pressure to the upside. We're seeing a descending triangle, which, if we flip that upside down, compared to what happened when Bitcoin prices took off, we know that it was an ascending triangle, not a descending triangle. So I kind of believe that there is the possibility of prices breaking down much further than this before we get that takeoff and move to the upside. So there could be that capitulation low based on that study, what we just did of all the prices of Bitcoin. And I will go find the Discord link for the guys who are hanging out here. I know this is we talk about this through the day, and then I do these live things once a day. But we're hanging out there going over this stuff. And I'm going to have that new bot set up in the Discord chat here soon too. So there's only a few people hanging out now at the end of the call, but I think we went over some stuff that is, for me, it makes a difference in how well I'm going to be trading in the future. And hopefully it does for you guys as well too. I'm super happy to have you guys along. Super happy. And always interested in your comments, your questions. If you've got any coins you want me to take a quick look at now just before I sign off. This is a long one, holy moly. This is an hour and 40 minutes already. And normally I like to keep presentations to an hour because my own brain goes fuzzy after that much time. But this was a good one. We really dug into some good stuff. Now if I zoom into what's going on right now, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. We've got these 3 lower highs. We've got these lower lows. October to November of 2013. All right, so I will go back. I'll go over to Bitstamp. I'm not sure which exchange is Bitstamp on Coinigi here. BTC USD 1 year. Pull it back, drag it back. Look at that. May your wealth keep track with your teaches. Thanks for the comment there. Daffyd Nicholas. October to November 2013. This was such a lightly traded thing here, but we can see, of course, it made a big capitulation low as everybody was freaking out, and it was all the way down to $9. Then there's our 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. Prices broke above that 1, 2, 3 bottom formation and the support and resistance line right in here. as a broke, like this is resistance, comes down, 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 makes the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. Really looks like September of 2015 actually, where it made this huge capitulation low. It came up and then swung its way up, and then this resistance here turned into support. Prices tried to come back against that, no way, and off they went from there like madness. And this is where the whole world woke up to Bitcoin. Look at that. It went all the way up to $230 and then it crashed all the way back down to 50. So that's a lot of range. Then there's our formation shaping up, down to retest the $50 range. And here's our 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. Looks again like we saw in September 2015. The capitulation low, prices came up. They made this ascending triangle. So yeah, this, when I'm reviewing these and I'm thinking about what we're looking at now, we're seeing a descending triangle. We're not seeing the capitulation low followed by an ascending triangle yet. So there could be some lower lows coming into Bitcoin. And this is what Tone Vase was talking about. I was watching his stuff the other day. So then after this, we had one spike down. And after that, off it went to unthinkable highs. And we're looking at the 1 day bar. So every day, there's some huge volatility, but it just for 2 solid months, it went crazy every single day. And then market had enough and down it came. Now we're in a top formation, and there are places where you can go short on Bitcoin, and people are shorting it. People are selling out of it. People who bought in here, they're capitulating. I just can't take it. I'm selling everything. So now we have we do have Bitfinex data coming in at the same time along with, and so we can see how the two different exchanges diverged. One was higher than the other. Then they snapped together relative. I don't know how important that is, but you can see how they're working together here. Then we have the massive low at the beginning of 2015, 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, tried to break higher, failed back, consolidated for months, April, May, June, July, really long time of watching and expecting bull market. It come up, and this is where it caught tons of traders right there. They figure it's going up to the moon forever, and it is a capitulation. And if we zoom in on this, look at the volume here, and then it comes up again with much less volume. So we see this happening. We know that it's not going higher. The volume is fading out here. It's going to pull back from there. Down it came, really like raining. Bam. So everybody who jumped in here at $295, $300, as it's coming down to $200, you're losing 30-40% of your money. Came all the way down to $160 or $190 there. And now we have our 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, and the prices take off and take off again. And we have our ascending triangle shaping up here. So I love it. I appreciate going back over these over the long period. So I don't have anything further back than that 2013. I guess. How is that getting through? Let me now put you guys on pause. All right. I'm going to sign off. I enjoyed this session here tonight. I appreciate the interaction on the chat and the questions and the comments and the history review of what's gone on with Bitcoin before. Because now when we zoom in on where it is now, I am not as bullish on it. Although, you know, when I see all these altcoins at these historical lows, I want to be bullish. But the shape of this pattern in Bitcoin is not giving me the confidence yet. So it's got to break higher. That's it. So we look at the simple trading plan says not to buy yet, not to take an action yet. But the moving averages haven't crossed. It hasn't broken this down trend line yet. It is making a bottom at historically important levels, but it's got to give more. It's got to give us more yet before it's time to get in. And really, so just got to wait for it. And when it does, it's going to be big, whichever way it goes. And I think that having the record number of short trades on right now is actually a benefit, because often the herd is wrong. So if everybody's all short on this, then we'll have two factors. If prices go up, we're going to have two factors working for us. First of all, we'll have market forces that say prices should be going up. People are buying it. Second, we'll have all those short traders that have to close their position. And so you get two forces moving the price up when that happens. And the other way as well, if the market is actually the line of least resistance is down, once it breaks below these levels, then all of those long positions are going to have to close and sell their position. And that's why if it does crack one way, it's going to go significantly. And if it comes down, it's probably going to brush against the $4,000 level. So it'll come down 30% from where it is right now if it does. And then we'll be looking for that 1, 2, 3 bottom formation again. We'll be hunting for that all the time as it's doing this formation. So that's it for today. Thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate having you guys here. All the best, and I'll see you in the Discord chat.